to our channel. If you're new here, please subscribe. I'd really love that. If you're returning, how you doing? Question, does it sound better when I do this or when it's like this on my desk? Well, it's not actually a desk, it's a little table. Anyway, grab your coffee, right? Maybe a snack. All right. If you're new here, how you doing? Please subscribe. If you're returning, where you been? How you doing, huh? All right, good. So listen, this is what we're going to be talking about today, okay? We're going to be talking about the biggest Fed rate hike in 40 years, and it's going to be coming next week sometime, all right? So I've said this a couple of times, all right, more than a couple of times, actually. Desperate times, desperate measures, and times are arguably increasingly desperate right now. The persistence of high inflation might force the Federal Reserve to resort to the biggest increase in a key U.S. interest rate in more than 40 years. Okay, so after another dismal U.S. inflation report, economists are this just, it kills me. It really does. It kills me. Economists at the brokerage Nomura, and that's Nomura Securities, became the first on Wall Street, DJIA, at plus 0.10% to predict a full percentage point increase in the Fed's benchmark short-term rate. Now, they said, we continue to believe that markets underappreciate just how entrenched the U.S. inflation has become and the magnitude of response that will likely be required from the Fed to dislodge it. And the last time the Fed made such a drastic move was in the early 80s, which was another period marked by sky-high inflation. I was too young back in the early 80s, but, I'm sure a lot of you remember it, okay? Now, at each of the last two meetings that were held, the monetary policy setting Federal Open Market Committee raised the targeted rate by 0.75%. In August, the Consumer Price Index rose a scant 0.1%, largely because of another big drop in energy prices. And the annual pace of inflation slowed a bit to 8.3 from 8.5%. But that was virtually all of the good news, okay? The cost of almost everything rose last month, including food, rent, clothes, furniture, cars, medical care, and the list keeps going on, okay? And I know that a lot of you can attest to this, especially for those of us that still have school-age children. When I was buying school clothes for Cariana and Dominic, I spent a substantial amount more this year for school clothes and school supplies than we did last year, okay? And we bought the same amount. We start the kids off with 3 brand new outfits every single year, 2 pairs of shoes, a new package of underwears, socks, and so on and so forth. And it was substantially more this year than it was last year, okay? Rent, obviously, yeah, I have a mortgage, but still, I do know, people who have rent. Rent has just gone right through the roof. It's insane, okay? Food, we all know, it's all, affecting every single one of us on how much we spend on food. What do we normally spend on food every single month? This is not including our preps. What do you spend on an average every single month just for your regular grocery bill. Okay, last year, this same month, we were spending about, I want to say, $250. Okay, and that was for three of us, for me, Sean, and Andrew. Now, this same time this year, we're spending about $450. So you can see how much things are really going up. All right, medical care, we're grandfathered in, I want to say, because we have Blue Cross Blue Shield, federal care, federal employee coverage, because of my husband working for Homeland Security. Okay, so we've had the same coverage 20 years. So we haven't really noticed any rate hikes, I guess you can say. Cars, we haven't bought any brand new cars. So I can't really attest to that. But I have heard that it's cheaper to buy a brand new car than it is to buy a used car. Why? Because everything is electronics and chips and computers now. So the result is another price measure viewed by the Fed as a better indicator of future inflation trends. Rose sharply in August and hit the highest yearly rate in 5 months. And the so-called core rate of consumer inflation climbed to a yearly pace of 6.3% in August, from 5.9% in the prior month, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics data. So the backup in the core rate is a call to bolder action. They said, we believe it is increasingly clear that a more aggressive path of interest rate hikes will be needed to combat increasingly entrenched inflation stemming from an overheating labor market, unsustainably, strong wage growth, and higher inflation expectations. That's what they said. All right. Now, the federal funds rate, the central bank's short-term rate, now hovers. It hovers in a range of about 2.25% to 2.5%. And the cost of most consumer and business loans are tied to that rate. Now, it is predicted that the rate will be increased to a range of 3.25 to 3.5% at the Fed's policy meeting, which is this week coming up. Okay? And the Fed will ultimately push that key rate as high as 4.75% in 2023. Okay? So we are looking at much, much higher inflation rates. You're going to see prices skyrocket like a son of a gun. We really are. Okay? So brace yourselves for that impact. All right, guys. All right, I love you. I'll see you in the next one. You stay safe. You stay positive. You keep prepping. And as always, fear less. Ciao.